absolutely stick with it.
Does that answer your question?
That is comparable. Yeah, it answered my question. The next one would have been, what else is out there like NACA? Because I know out here in California, a lot of people is on that program just because the housing prices out here.
Okay, so I have an answer for that. With NACA, they go through Bank of America, and Bank of America actually have like a program that's similar to the program that NACA have. So you can just go there.
They have a similar program, but I can guarantee you they do not have the similar interest rates. They do not have the similar interest rates. They do not have the similar, like NACA is a program of its own. And I work with a lot of first-time homebuyer programs, unless it's just specifically out in California. Like they have first-time, Bank of America has first-time homebuyer products here in Florida, in Georgia, but nothing like NACA. Like NACA is like at 2 and 3% interest rates.
Do y'all understand what she's saying? Basically, the NACA program, the interest rates are so low that all the niggas is running to it.
Right.
So it's like a food stamp line. It's going to take your ass a long time to get to the front if everybody trying to get it. So
Ophelia, with the interest rate, you could buy your interest rate down. If you save the money, because that's what...
I also said I'm going to teach you how to, in the beginning, I think I said I'm going to teach you how you can actually lower your interest rate.
Yep. So Renee, I'm glad you brought it up. It was already on the agenda for Tierra to talk about it's not with NACA, with any mortgage loan. She's going to talk about how to get a better interest rate.
So for one, getting a better interest rate.
So Tierra, don't jump to it next. This is why I'm trying to control like where we go with the conversation, because we could just be all over the place and then end up going back in circles. So does anybody have any questions on what she explained about FHA loans, conventional loans, VA loans, hard money loans, USDA loans?
I have a question.
I heard two people. Whoever want to go.
I'm going first. For the VA loan, what does your credit score have to look like?
I think you have to be at least a 620 for VA.
Okay, thank you.
What's the second person? What's your question?
When it comes to doing homestead versus investment properties, after the first one, I know y'all said like you can not technically live there, but it still look like you living there. What's the benefit of doing that as opposed to it just being an investment property? Do you like save money by doing that?
Yeah, you would save money because then you would get a break on your taxes. You know that there's
because you get the homestead when you do
as far as if you make it, listen, you know every piece of money you make, Uncle Sam gonna want some of it. So if you say you live there, it don't look like you making no money on the property.
This is why I be telling y'all, and I'm gonna tell y'all, Tierra, I've been saying this to them a couple times in the past and a couple times before that outside of the book club, like on my platform. Our people, right? We have to start being honest with ourselves financially, right?
Yeah.
If you are chasing a tax return, you are a low income earner. Those that earn money and are successful financially, we are trying to utilize things like what we were just talking about to get tax breaks because we owe taxes. We don't get taxes back. So if you're trying to gauge where you are just economically, right? Even if I never reach it by the time I die, I am trying to reach a tax bracket where I learn the clever things that people with money do to not pay as much in taxes because I am making a good living. If you are these people that are stuck in this mindset, in this loop, that I work all year long and I never really touch any real money until tax time, and then that's when the big bucks come in, I spend it, and then by April, I'm waiting all the way till January again, come into the most money I've come into all year, spend it, then wait and get excited all year again. January comes around, I wait and get it again, spend it, go the rest of the year and never really earn anything right. You waiting on April. Do y'all understand what I'm explaining? The fucked up or generationally cursed belief in our community is to brag about tax returns. So when you get out of this Zoom, if you just look about Facebook or Instagram, right? The people that are excited and are posting the memes and are, oh, I'm waiting on my taxes and what's my date? Wonderful. But you're letting us know that you're not a top earner. You're letting us know that you're not trying to be a top earner. You're letting us know that your mindset has you stuck in the rat race where you believe something great is going on by you following this fucking loop of tax money to where you only see lumps of money that seem to be a lot to you, right? One time a year. The goal is to make your life lucrative where there is inflow of multiple streams of income so that you are buying back your time and so that January to April is not the only time you can make big purchases or do things for your children or travel and go somewhere. Do y'all understand what I'm trying to unlearn you and relearn you? It's a poor mindset. Yes. It's a generationally cursed belief. So if you round people that they brag about tax money, if you round people that they're excited about tax season every year, I'm not saying you don't get your tax money until you come up. I'm saying if you see the energy of bragging about it, of making it seem like it's something great, of believing that all this swapping of dependents and girl, she got 3, and you think that this is some big, great deal to look like. If you have daughters and sons, teach them, because if you don't, our community will make them believe that chasing this tax money every year is some sort of good thing. There are a lot of young adults that do not understand that your mama getting tax money means that y'all ass is low income the majority of the time. People mamas who is not getting no tax money is paying taxes and earning good amounts throughout the year. Just like Tiara said, the more you make, the more Uncle Sam is going to want. They're not going to give you more when you make more. So if Uncle Sam giving you something, it's because your ass poor. Is everybody clear on this?
100%.
Yeah. I have a question for Tiara, well, or even you, Love. So when we purchase a property, right?
Mm-hmm.
As long as so to reduce, so we purchase a property to reduce like the capital gains tax. If we purchase another property before or that's more expensive than the first property, you
okay.
So
go ahead.
Only applies if you buy and sell within a certain amount of time.
I want y'all to understand, I love that question came up because it shows that she was paying attention when I did multiple streams of income, because capital gains is one of the multiple streams, and it is a passive income, which is where we're trying to get to, right? And capital gains is the capital you gain on an asset that you earn, that you own, right? So for example, you buy a house for $100,000, later on the housing market changes, and now that property you bought for $100,000 is worth $200,000. You gained $100,000, or you've earned $100,000 in capital gains if you sell that property, right? With that being said, this is why I said grown folk have relationships, with grown folk resources. Grown folk resources are realtors, are certified public accountants. These are people that can tell you all the Donald Trump type stuff that you can fucking do on your tax returns to be able to utilize tax laws to not pay a lot or get what you're able to get based on legally looking at your income for the year or your assets, right? So grown folk, the same way you have a doctor when your ass go to burning, they have realtors, they have certified public accountants or somebody that is their tax person, right? Because these kind of questions that we're getting into when we talk about taxes and stuff like that, you want to get your own certified public accountant. You want your own person that specializes in credit repair, right? You want your own person that is a real estate agent. You want your own person that is an attorney. And if you're smart, you will have a criminal attorney, and then you will have somebody that also practices law in things like real estate and also civil. If you're writing stuff down, write this down. Grown folk know these kind of people. These are the people that grown folk have in their contact list of top 10 or top 5. Not calling mama and them every day who don't got no fucking money and didn't build no generational wealth. Not calling cousin them or that nigga you been chasing that's not finna marry you or paying you no fucking mind. Not the bitch who ass fat and look good that you've been worrying about all year long. Grown folk have people, and if you're somebody like Sims, right? Or you somebody like me or any of y'all that got some sense, I want to know a man or a woman that works in construction. I want somebody that works in certain areas with my city, right? Where I live at, I want to know one of my city officials. I want to know somebody that worked down at the water department or somebody working in the mayor's office. I want to have a contact of somebody that sits on the city council. I want to know some people instead of just knowing the weed man. Instead of just knowing the motherfucker around the corner that was looking at me when I was at the gas station. I want to know some grown folk people. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? So, Shantae, I love your question.
Not all y'all know me, so y'all got a realtor.
So, Shantae, to answer your question, if you are looking at investment properties, if you are looking to acquire a property with the intent to look at things like capital gains, get you a CPA.
But listen, I want to piggyback off of that because I just dealt with it. So I had a guy who purchased during the housing crash. He purchased the property for $50,000. Last year, I sold his property for $650,000. That's a capital gains. That's what you call a capital gain.
Mm-hmm.
The government was going to tax him, I think, 35%. The only way around that we could do it is if he put money, if he just purchased another property with some of the money. That's what I told him. Well, let's just purchase something else with some of the money, and now you just keep the cycle going.
But these are things that, Tierra, these are things that you wouldn't know unless you worked with a realtor personally or someone that deals with tax laws in regards to real estate. Because like Tierra said, a lot of the stuff that she's sharing with y'all, you're going to be already educated on things that the bank wasn't going to tell your ass anyway.
They're never going to tell you because they don't want you to know. Because the less you know,
the more they
the less powerful you are.
So
listen, when you walk into a bank, you should really be telling them what they're going to give you.
Yep.
Not asking them, hey, what can you give me? You should be like, okay, this is what we doing. And let me tell you, I didn't even learn that from a real estate class. I learned that from my fiance. And he is a man of finance, of numbers.
Right.
So
now
they don't want us to know.
Right. Do y'all understand what she's explaining? This is why I wanted you guys to get educated on mortgages, on interest rates, on all the things that come along with home buying so that you could be well equipped. Now, again, I'm going to ask, does anybody have any questions on mortgages, on home loans? FHA, conventional, VA, hard money loans, USDA.
When it comes to the...
Her, two people, whoever want to go.
Go ahead.
Now, I have a question about, okay, say for instance, you're not going to live in the property, but you want to buy it for like your business or something. Is that still the same considered the home loan and mortgage loan and things like that? Or is that like a whole different
Yep. So
loan?
Cam, write down in your definitions a mortgage loan or a loan to purchase a property, right? You're looking at these type of loans. And then as Tierra said, banks are getting creative, lenders, companies that are funders of loans to purchase properties. They are creative with their qualifications, but you're still going for a loan to purchase a property. Doesn't matter if it's for you to live in or if it's for business or if it's to rent out as a rental property. Unless, of course, like Tierra said earlier, if you're buying cash. Somebody else had a question. No problem, baby.
I was just going to ask, as far as the credit, how do they gauge your credit score? Because I know with the 3 different bureaus, sometimes the numbers kind of vary.
This is a great question, Tierra.
They take the median score. So out of your 3 scores, whatever your middle score is, like if you have 650, 660, 640, your median is going to be 650. From lowest to highest, they're going to take the median score.
Whatever's the middle score. Does everybody understand that? Write it down. So when you're looking at, before we say anything else, I want all the people to know what she is saying. It is important to know, because before you take your ass in front of somebody thinking that you qualify because you don't went on Credit Karma and seeing that your Vantage scores is, you know, the highest one is a 770 and you believe you up there. But when you actually log in and you look at your 3 different scores, whatever the middle score is what she's saying that a lot of mortgage lenders will look at. Is everybody clear on that?
Yes.
Yes, I wanted to share something too that I learned. So if you open up a secure credit card and then you just keep raising like the amount on it, it reduces, but you don't use it. You know how they tell you to use it and then pay it back 10%? No, just open it up and keep increasing the amount, but don't use it. It reduces your debt to income ratio, so it makes you it increases your capacity to get loans and to get funding.
Correct.
Like a
The
place.
3 that they're looking at is TransUnion, Equifax, and who's the third person? I mean, group.
Y'all do know that your FICO, you have different FICO scores. So just because your Equifax says that it's a 640, that doesn't mean your mortgage Equifax is a 640.
Okay, so
You use my cycle,
so let's back up. Let's go back because we skipped over Gina's question. So Gina, I don't think you were in the book club when Cedric came in and talked about credit. So you have a credit score with Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. There are apps that you can utilize to log in, and it will show you things like what Tierra's describing, which are all 3 of your scores, but then also it will break down and show you what are your 3 mortgage scores and what are your 3 auto loan scores, right? And then some apps even give you the score if you're going for credit cards or just credit funding in regards to loans, right? So you can use apps like MyFICO. You can use apps like Identity IQ. Each bureau has its own app. Now, a good majority of these apps, they cost like a monthly fee to keep updating your information in the app. But if you're grown, this is something you should be doing because it is important for you to look at your credit scores. Now, when you hear me talk about credit, I always say it's the adult report card. So when I talk to, for example, I do a young Zoom with the youth. And when people are in there like my teenage daughter, I explain when your parents come to you and they want to know, let me see your report card, Latrice. Or let me see your report card, Gina. Let me see what your grades is. It better be A's and B's. Better not be nothing on here lower than a C. Why this look like this? Our credit profile as grown folk is basically our report card. It shows our behavior with money in regards to bills and owing people and paying on time and managing our money to where we're not living outside of our means. So if you look at it like that, the same way you want to see your kids' report card throughout the year, you need to check your own fucking report card throughout the year and look at how you're behaving with your money. Is everybody clear on that? These are things that to call yourself grown, like I was saying about certain resources, you need them. Does anybody else have any questions on FHA, conventional, VA loans, hard money loans, USDA loans?
Can she repeat what she said about the secure credit card?
Shantae, she's saying if you have a secured credit card and you keep increasing your amount, right? So let's say I get a $500 secured credit card and then in a month or 2, I go increase it by giving them $500 more to $1,000. And then I go increase it to $2,000. It can help on my debt to income ratio. Debt to income is simply how much money do you have going out and how much money do you have going in. If you took my budgeting and multiple streams of income Zoom, when I talk about budgeting, I spoke on a very basic level. If you are living off of more than 50% of what you make in a 30-day pay period, you're living above your means. No, this does not mean you need to go downgrade your lifestyle. Get on your fucking shit. Get the book that I gave you on hustling on the side. Get into the mindset of passive streams of income. Think with, I need to increase my income so that my debt and my bills don't have me jacked up living above my means. When you guys go to get a lease on renting somewhere, the same as mortgages, they look at your income. What does the payment a month amount to? And how much do you fucking make? Because you can tell that if somebody's income is jacked right up with the payment it requires to live in this property, they're going to most likely do what when something happens in their life? What are they going to most likely do? If all I make is $3,000 a month and I go get in a place that the rent is
not paid, they're not gonna pay.
Yes, something's going to happen where they get themselves fucked up. And I'm gonna tell y'all this just as a side note, and we're gonna get back to the real estate. This is why I be stressing the mindset needs to change with our people, because this is why you will see other cultures get in a property and you sitting back in your big ass house for $2,800 a month, and you feel like you living it up, and you look across the street and it's 5 of them living in one property. They all adults, and you think you're doing better than them. But then you look 2 years, maybe 3 years later, all them individual 5 people done bought a property and got shit going on, or they done went and bought a business or a gas station or a nail shop or a corner store, and you still in your $2,800 a month house that look way better and it's way less, packed than theirs, but your mindset in regards to economics and financing is broken. Do y'all understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So now, anybody got any other questions on the loans?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Do these loans transfer through, so for example, I'm in Canada. Where would I find the equivalent of all those loans over here? Like, do they transfer over? Would I be able to get, some of the loans that you were speaking about, or do I just have to look for the equivalent in my country?
Tia, you want to answer that? Tia, you want to answer that? If you're talking, Tia, you're on mute.
Sorry. Can she repeat the question?
So she lives in Canada. And so, of course, she doesn't know, because we're talking about the different type of home loans, if Canada has the same names for these mortgage loans, property loans, home loans, whatever the fuck you want to call them. So she was asking a question in regards to, in her state, do you know anything about if they're the same, or does she need to research it?
No, they're the same. This is worldwide.
Awesome. So now let me say this, right, Omo?
Yeah.
And I love that question came up. Let me say this, right? Let's say they were different, right? What should you have as a resource to you that you would be able to go to, even if the names of the loans to purchase land or property had different names?
A realtor.
There you go. Okay. Does anybody else have any questions on loans?
I do.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I recently purchased a home and I did like a hard money loan, and I'm currently in the process of like refinancing and things like that. I did it with my mom. Oh, thank you. I did it with my mom, and I like pretty much want to flip the property and like go within like the FHA route. Am I still considered a first time home buyer or no?
Are you on a deed?
I am.
You're not a first time home buyer anymore.
Okay, thank you. Because I thought that I would still be considered being that mom. I did it with my mom, but thank you so very much for answering that question.
No problem.
Anybody else got a question on the loans? Different type of loans, different types of loans. Okay, awesome. Tiara, next question. What's the next question on your list?
The next question on my list from Dorsey is, let's see. Okay. Best banks for mortgage loans.
Yes, child. Where they got the loans at? Where the money at?
So I will say this. I always tell my clients to check with the bank that they have the longest relationship with. What she said?
No, I was going to say, I love that you said that, because when Said came in and talked to the book club about credit, he explained about building relationships with banks and doing it intentionally. And he sat and named off all the best banks to build a relationship with. So all of them should be up to par with what building a relationship with a bank entails initially. And so when you're saying the bank or the financial institution that you have the longest relationship with, they should know. And the idea is, if you don't like the one that you have the longest relationship with, build another relationship with another bank. Cedric went through the different types of banks. I told y'all, I explained that banks are a business, right? And this is how banks make their money, through loans. And the money they earn off of interest is their profit. So I'm glad that you said that, Tiara. The banks or the financial institution that you have the longest relationship with. Now tell us, Tiara, because you said that you have a hold on,
I have a couple of different lenders.
Yes, you said that, and I want to know more about that. But you also said that you have a development company. So tell us.
So I do have a development company that helps from point A to point Z. We would more so help people like Sims, who is getting ready to build products. So what I did was I partnered with a contractor because we just saw what I like to do is see what it's a need for and then move in that direction. So I partnered with a contractor because, of course, I want to start building homes. I want to become like a Lennar. So eventually I'm going to get with friends like Love Dorsey, who has credit, who has this, and say, hey, we're going to go over here. We're going to build us a community. And then we already have a relationship with a bank. Everything that I do is intentional. I'm happy that she used that word. You get with a bank on intentions to secure funds, not just because I want to get with them and open a bank account. And I learned this later in life. Well, I'm not 40 yet, but...
Does everybody understand what she's saying?
Yes, I have a question. I have a question about that. I didn't have a resource to go to, but I want to ask y'all. So I saw before that if you purchase, what is it? I think like 500 acres of land. So like if you get together with a group of DMV members or whoever you're networking with and purchase like I think it's at least 500 acres of land, y'all can come up with your own like rules and everything for that, like because it is considered its own community. Do y'all know anything about that?
Yeah, so write this down. And when okay, let me just keep it simple so we can get back onto loans, right? When you get grown and you develop resources like what Tiara said, she partnered with a development company, which is basically a contractor, someone that can build houses. So she is a realtor, and then she became a broker. And then now she's partnered with someone that builds homes on top of her selling homes, right? You're increasing your value by partnering and having resources, people that you are in contact with and have built a relationship with that add value to what you do, right? What Shantae is describing is what we would call credit partners, if we're going to talk about credit, or investment groups, right? So what Tiara described earlier, and there are a lot of bomb-ass women, shout out to Texas, right? I personally know a lot of bomb-ass women in Texas that get together. They are credit partners. They all go for funding at a particular institution that they've all built a relationship with to get big funding. They take the big funding. They go buy apartment complexes like Dorian brought up, or multiple houses together in a certain area. And like Shantae said, they create their own rules for what they purchase. Obviously, it's different based on what city and state and ordinances and laws in that particular town. But yes, Shantae, that is true. But you need to write down the word credit partners and then write down investors or an investment group, right? And this is the basis of being an investor. So me, Lauren, Erica, Tiara, Shantae, and Omo, we can all get together, all get our credit repaired, all go build a relationship with this particular bank, or we can set up a LLC where we're all listed on there, and we could get with somebody like Ced and Tiara, and we can go for funding, and then get with Tiara's development group and get us a apartment complex built or whatever. Or we can build a building and set it up as salon suites and rent it out. Like, this is simply investing. You can't get to these kind of moves if you can't first be an adult, manage your emotions, manage your money on a basic level where I'm layered above broke. I got my savings to invest. My debt is under control. My credit profile looks good, right? You can't even talk. People who are doing this, they don't want to talk to you if you don't have these things in order. No one wants you a part of their credit partners or their investment group if you don't have this basic stuff taken care of. This is why you guys see me on the internet screaming at my community about getting things under control, like your emotions or your ability to not be a victim. because you'll never get to rooms to talk about this kind of stuff if all you worry about is what your baby daddy did, or what your mama and them said to you, or what your baby mama doing, or how you met the bitch on Facebook or Instagram that your boyfriend talking to, or how you upset, or how you saving all your tax money for a BBL. You will never see a different quality of life. You will never understand the flow of money or real economics if you cannot just be a basic adult. Does everybody understand that?
Yes. And I have a question about a development company.
Mm-hmm.
Sims, I know she had I had a question. I heard her say she got a general contract. Do you also have an architect?
Yes, I have a full team.
I told your ass Sims to get her contact. Call her ass tomorrow and do business.
Okay. I have a couple of architects. But what I want to say about the development company is I just saw a need for it. And what I was doing, I was spilling a lot of information for free of people who were coming to me and wanted to build and wanted to do this and wanted to do that. And you just have to also know your worth. And I know that's something that Love talks about as well. So it's just like you have to know your worth and add tax. So I was just filling out this information for free. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. They're going to go with me anyway to find the property and do the bills and do that. I might as well make it a business because guess what? Everybody else that was around us who looked the opposite color of us, or, you know, there may be some people on here, they're taking full advantage of this. They're starting development companies. They're building all around. They're taking our grandmama houses and doing all of this and doing what they need to do. So when I partnered with this guy, I'm like, okay, now we're building in Tampa, St. Pete, Port St. Lucie, hopefully to start in Georgia by 2025. That's another thing about being an adult. My 2024 is up, done. I'm planning 2025 right now.
I love it. Does anybody have any other questions on loans?
Real quick question.
Yep.
I just wanted to know, in relationship building with the banks, how do you feel about credit unions?
So
I love credit unions.
I was gonna say to you,
who you bank with?
I'm sorry, say again.
Are you banking with a credit union?
Recently, I do have a credit union that's here local to where I live at. And I know there's some credit unions that are usually recommended, like some of the bigger ones.
So, Monet, were you in?
I heard that credit unions are... Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say you weren't in the credit Zoom with said.
No, I'm new to the book club.
Okay, cool. So when you see me do the credit Zoom again with said, you should get in it. Because he talks a lot about that, about building relationships with banks and financial institutions. And he specifically talks about how credit unions are very good financial institutions to get with, right? We operate in our community off of ask somebody what they like rather than going and finding out about the product ourselves. So the idea is all of them do the same shit. But if on a basic scale, you're just trying to understand, for an individual person, it is easier to get more out of a credit union than a big bank. Now, like Tiara said, banks are getting more creative because they make their money off of loans that they are trying to appeal to the desperate people. And when I say desperate, I'm just referring to those who are just finding out about credit. Their income is not that much, which makes them desperate to qualify for something to be able to own a property before they die. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're...
Let me correct what I said. When I said whatever bank you have a relationship with, that is for banks and credit unions. Like, if you're a member of Navy Federal and a member of Bank of America, see who offers you the best product. There you go. The banks are offering a better product than the credit unions are. You just have to see what works for you. I have mortgage lenders who are finding better deals than what banks and credit unions are giving you. So it's all in, again, your resources, your credit profile, what you can bring to the table for these banks to be able to jump through hoops to give you their business.
So I'm going to say it again because I'm excited to say it. If you just get your resources together, all of these areas will line up for you knowledge-wise because, listen, I don't want to know everything Tiara knows. I just want to know enough to go to her about the right shit. Do y'all understand what I'm explaining? I'm not trying to know everything said no as a credit repair person and a specialist in funding. I don't want to know everything Tiara knows as a broker in Georgia and Florida. I don't want to know everything she knows. That's the point of having her. So the idea is, all I know is when it's time for me to buy, right? Again, right? Even for someone I purchased many homes. When it's time for me to buy again, I know that one, here are the different type of loans. I know that two, Tiara's going to ask me, what type of property am I looking for? Somewhere to live or an investment property? Is it for a business or is it for you and your family? What size property do you want? She's going to want to know next. Let's see what your credit score is in regards to mortgages. Let's see how much money you can afford so we can realistically see what size loan you'll be able to get. Let's look at your debt to income ratio. These are the same things that the mortgage lender is going to look for, right? She's going to get with me and look at these things. Let's say she says, nope, love, these things on your credit is not going to look good. This make your debt to income ratio look. I'm going to say, hold on, bitch. Let me call Said. Tiara said, this, and this need to be off my credit. How much and how long can it take for you to get it off? What's up? I'm going to pay him. He going to get to working on that. When that's handled, Tiara, I'm back on the line. I got that shit took off. What's up? What bank? What loan? I want this house. I want this size. Me and my babies is ready. Me and my man is ready. What's up? Y'all see how this goes? And then let's say I say, Tiara, I want to build. Bitch, I don't want to buy none of this shit that's already built. Then she gonna say, okay, bitch, what size? All right, how much you wanting to afford in your monthly payment? Okay, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, what area? Because this is going to determine if I go for help you get a USDA loan or we're going to go for a conventional loan or FHA loan. Like, and I say, okay, I want my shit built in a rural area like I really want, right? And I want my shit where the neighbors ain't around me, okay? She going to get with her developmental company, which is actually a contractor, right? That has Sims, an architect that's going to draw up different plans, or hell, it might be an area where a builder is already there. And she going to say, girl, come look at this model home. Tell me if you want a home in this particular area built by these people. I'm going to say, bitch, let me see the paper. Look it over. Yep. Give me that one. I want my baby to have a room over here. I want this over here. Okay, let's do it. Y'all see where I'm going with this? The idea is not for me to know everything. It's for me to know the right people. So I need to know a little bit about a little bit and a lot of bit about the people that work in these areas. Yes, Adrian.
I just want to be honest. When I first started hearing you talk about this, and when I went in the zone with Cedric, and when we went in there with Peach, and now that we in here with her, I was getting anxiety because I was feeling like, man, my debt to credit ratio is high. You know, I don't have the income coming in. How can I do this? And I was just stressing this whole thing. And now that we are talking about this and how everything has came together now, it's like, girl, why are you so afraid? And that's going back to what you said. We got this fear that it's going to take a lot. It's going to do a lot. We got to do a lot. We got to have all the information. And when you just said, we don't have to have the information.
Yes.
We just have to know the people.
Right. That's why.
Got the information.
Yes.
So I'm not going to be over here scared no more. So if anybody is on this line and y'all feeling overwhelmed by this information, thinking that you cannot do it, don't think about it in all the steps. Think about it step by step. Let's go talk to Cedric. Let's go talk to Peach. Let's get that understanding with him. Then let's get that understanding with her. Now we getting this understanding with her. Let's do this. Y'all are encouraging me. And I just needed to say that because I sat here in a lot of fear. And now it's opening my eyes when you put it all together, that if we do all of those step by step, we can get what Love talking about. It's absolutely obtainable.
Yep, but
Thank you, Love.
Yes, 100%. Thank you for saying that. And Tiara, I know that you agree. The biggest thing is to just start. You start with having somebody look at your credit score to tell you what the fuck to fix, and looking at your debt to income ratio. Go ahead, Tiara.
All the time. It is easier than what you really think it is. And when they sit down and have a consultation with me and I say, this is really all we need to do, you're really standing in the way of, you letting fear stop you from becoming what you really want to be. So I'm guilty of that. So I ain't putting nobody on blast or nothing. We keeping it real in here.
Yeah, it's a fear that's in our community. This is why I will say it loud. I will say it cussing. I will say it not cussing. I'm going to say it tomorrow. The next time we meet, I'm going to say it. The next time, I'm going to keep throwing in your faces and feeding you this information. This is why I'm going to keep.
I didn't mean to say it like that.
No, Adrian, you listen. No, cut it out. Cut it out. Cut it out. Cut it out. You said it the correct way. And I'm telling y'all, I'm going to say it even more brutal as we go forward, because I told y'all the beginning of this year for my book club is about finances, right? Every time we meet, I'm going to make Ophelia throw in y'all face. And I'm saying it like this because that's what the fuck I'm doing. I'm going to make her throw in y'all face how she go up into hundreds of thousands of dollars off of the same Zoom information y'all sat and watched. I'm going to show you what fear does. It leave you the fuck behind. So I'm going to keep stressing it. The lady's $75,000 up over all of y'all. Even if you weren't looking for no $75,000. She got $75,000 richer since the last Zoom that we had in regards to credit. She moved on things that a good majority of y'all did not move on. And I'm going to watch her do it. And then I'm going to watch her get with a realtor or somebody like Tara and buy a property and then have assets. While Said is steady getting her more and more funding. I told y'all when I introduced Said, the man get $200,000, $300,000, $400,000. Y'all going to go a lifetime never touching that type of funding to build on your dreams. I'm putting the information in front of you simply in a book club that you're already in. So if you listen to the things that Tiara is saying, if you have a goal to be a homeowner, to own a property, to get a building for your business, right? You need to move on it. She's telling you the criteria and the qualifications, just looking at how much money go out, how much money you got coming in. That's debt to income. Looking at my credit score. She's telling you the credit scores as we're going through this information. She's telling you the basic stuff. Loans explained in the simplest forms. It don't get no more triller than this. Ain't nobody else gonna break it down. And then some of y'all, I'm watching where your mind's going. You asking questions about random shit. Put this shit in basic form. I just need to look at my debt to income ratio. I just need to look at my credit score. I just need to look at what I can afford. Get with someone like her, a realtor in my area, a credit repair person that I know. I don't give a fuck which one you use. Utilize it and do something that's grown. We already did the childish shit. Let's do some grown shit. So now, if nobody has any other questions on loans, Tiara, what was the third question?
Okay. Hold on a second. Our third question. What are the main things needed to consider yourself ready to buy a house?
Yes, and this is perfect.